very special day. I'm excited about it. It's the debut of my very own roundtable. I'm going to call it Mic Check. It will be a roundtable session with me and three black men discussing issues that affect not only us, but the black community as a whole. And I got my boys in on the panel today. I'm excited about these guys here. Marc Lamont Hill, of course, you know him, host of Black News Tonight right here on BNC. Charles Coleman Jr., a civil rights attorney, hanging out with us from New York, and Jay Barnett, a former pro football player, currently an author and a therapist. Fellas, what's up? I'm excited to have you guys on. I specifically wanted the three of you on for this debut because I know you're going to bring the three things that I want. I want us to be conversational. I don't want you to wait for me to ask a question. You know, Mark, if you hear something that Charles says that you totally disagree with, I need you to check him because that's what Mic Check's all about, all right? Same thing for you, Jay and Charles, back and forth. I need us to be transparent. As black men, we need to be more transparent and open about our feelings, and we always got to keep it real on Mic Check. Can we do that, fellas?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can.
So we all agree we can proceed then. All right, let's dive into this thing. The NAACP yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, they sent a letter to the Players Association and 5 Pro Sports yesterday asking them and the players to reconsider signing with Texas teams because of the recent controversial laws passed in that state. Also, you know, the voting restriction laws, abortion, also their mask mandates. Mark, let me start off with you on this thing right here because, look, you know, money talks, bro, and these players will be listening when that money talks. So do you think this thing has any legs?
I hope it does. You know, if this was the 1950s, 1960s, and there was a state like Georgia or Texas that was you know, had Jim Crow rules and black folk couldn't use the bathroom, we would tell people not to go and play there. We would tell musicians not to perform, so athletes not to sign. We got to have the same solidarity with sisters. We got to have the same solidarity with trans sibs. We got to have the same of commitment. So for me, I hope so. Now, will it really happen? Like you said, that money be talking. So I can't, but I hope so.
Jay, you down there in Texas right now. You're in Houston, former player. What do you think the players are going to be feeling? How they going to be feeling about this?
Well, if you know anything about Texas, and I've been here since I was a teenager, I think, you know, these guys are in love with their Texas teams, man. And so I think on one end, I agree that, you know, having solidarity is going to be important, but also what is the objective? If we're going to encourage these guys not to go to these schools in Texas, what's going to be the alternative? You know, are we going to push them to attend more HBCUs? And when you look at what Dion is doing down at Jackson State, I mean, I think that gives a lot of these black players another options to attend HBCUs. So I don't know, man. I'm with Mark on this, man. Money talks, so it's going to be kind of challenging to get these guys to leave Texas or not attend a school in Texas.
You know, Mike, I think the
Charles,
thing
it sounds
about
like go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, I think the thing about the conversation is really that in order for you to put people in a position where you ask them not to do something else, you have to have an alternative for them that makes very clear. And I think Jay's last point speaks to that very directly. I also think that this becomes a more challenging conversation without a concentrated agenda or a very clear, concrete ask. So what I mean when I talk about that is talking about the ills that are going on with any particular state is fine, well, and good in terms of trying to discourage certain behaviors or trying to dissuade people from supporting them, whether that's economically or politically or in any other relevant fashion. But until you have a very concentrated and clear ask, so what's the plan? That becomes the real question. And I think that that's part of what's missing is, you know, if you're going to make these sorts of suggestions, then you need to have a clear agenda in place that you're asking for as an alternative for these young people.
And here's my thoughts, guys. Go ahead, Mark.
I agree with that. I think having a plan and alternative is always good. I think that's good tactically and structurally. But I also think it's okay to tell people not to do it just because it shouldn't happen. If they were lynching black people in Texas, we wouldn't say to people, "No, we don't have a plan yet. So let's keep sending the people down there to go to school there." Of course not. We say this is a crisis, and just because of what they're doing, this is wrong. If there was some kind of abuse happening, we'd say just don't go. If there were black men being killed in the streets, we'd say, look, we shouldn't go there, right? So I'm saying sometimes when it comes to people that's not us, whether it's women, whether it's girls, whether it's trans folk, whether it's queer folk, whether it's immigrants, refugees. It's easier to have a higher set of demands before we decide to do something that on its face just shouldn't happen.
Yeah, and my point is, like, why just Texas? They got some issues going on in Florida too. Maybe not with the abortion issues. They got Florida. How about Georgia? Georgia got restrictive laws when it comes to voting rights and things like that. And wouldn't it be a bigger impact? And I made this point in the last hour. If the players actually did go to those states and played for those teams and became stars of those teams and actually were able to speak out on those teams, wouldn't they have a bigger impact if they were actually in the state, speaking out about voter restriction laws, about abortion laws, about mask mandates, if they just use their votes and their voices, I should say, on those teams in those particular states? What do you think, Mark?
I mean, if I understand correctly, if we're talking about pro athletes, then I think it's more powerful for the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, the owner, you know what I mean, of the Houston, of Houston, Texas, to say, wait a minute, we can't get a player. We got to do something. Those owners don't think about politics. They think about money. They think about winning. They think about their egos. And I think we'll have far more impact by making the residents of Texas have crappy football teams than we would them having a singular star quarterback or wideout who is influential and passionate, but still ultimately can't change policy by himself. I think it's much more powerful if you got the whole state of Texas saying, yo, we can't get a safety. Yo, we got to do something about this.
Yeah, well, we'll see if it works out, because that'll be hard to do, like you said. Go ahead, Jay.
Go ahead, Jay.
Well, I was going to say, I understand what Mark is saying, but, when you look at it in its totality, is that the real issue? I mean, when you're looking at, telling guys not to go play somewhere, you're also looking at how this impacts, the athletes who are playing here in the state of Texas collegiately. But then again, our decisions has never been made on the field. Our decisions are always going to be made in the community. So if we're going to encourage players to not play in these states or play in these areas, I think we also have to encourage players to be more impactful in their community by using their voice with the platform that they have.
Agreed.
Charles, 30 seconds, man. Got to wrap this one up. Go ahead.
Well, when it comes to this, at the end of the day, I think that, this is a matter of us making sure that we are holding as many different economic streams accountable. We shouldn't just be limiting this to sports. We should be looking to impact and constrict and have an effect on all of the different economic points within the state of Texas and other states that are doing injustice and maintaining systemic inequity against Black people and people of color. Because at the end of the day, this is America, and we know that the two things that matter most are guns and butter. So we have to impact all of these economic points, not just sports, but I think that this is an important part to a very important discussion.
Another thing that matters a lot is that money, and we'll see if the players can resist that temptation of the money to go down there to Texas to play over what's right in this country when it comes to us. All right, I got to get to this topic right here, because a major milestone in the fight against COVID. Obviously, we know the COVID vaccines are out there. Still some hesitancy. Children between the ages of 5 and 11 can now start getting vaccines. Now, of course, the health of your kids is a top priority, guys. But let's say, what if the wife and the husband disagree about the vaccines? What's the compromise, Charles? I see you smiling right there. What is the compromise when you got the husband and wife disagreeing about it? The wife may not want it, the husband wants it, but now you got to decide what the kids are going to get.
Yeah, I am not married and I don't have kids, so I'm glad I'm able to sit this one out. I've had this conversation with a number of folks who are in this predicament, and they have said that this is really a tough conversation that has led to a lot of sleeping on the couch by different folks. I can't. I know that we're all men, and I think that as men, stereotypically, and that might be typical, we have an approach to sort of decision making in our households, respectively speaking. But this is not that type of thing. This is really something that has to be thought through and discussed among family. But at the same time, I think it brings to bear the larger issue in terms of male-female relationships, where at some point there is a decision that has to be made. And you asked the question about compromise. I don't know that there is a compromise here. I think that the reality is that there's just going to have to be a dominant voice that makes a decision here, or at least is able to persuade the other person in terms of the decision that they want to make.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, you're a therapist, man. How do we do that? I mean, is there a psychological approach to making this thing happen?
I think Charles hit it on the head. I think one of the things is that we're oftentimes looking for agreement, and I'm often pushing, especially husband and wives, to get understanding. And I think understanding is going to be critical in this matter, because from the husband perspective, he can feel, I don't feel the child needs to be vaccinated. And for most women who have the concerns about the health of their children, are going to probably typically want their child to be vaccinated. And what I've have pushed clients to do is agreement. We can disagree to get understanding. And in that perspective, we're looking out for the betterment of the child. As adults, we're going to have our theories, we're going to have our ideas and our feelings and about how we feel about certain things. But if we're going to look at the overall health of the child, I grew up in the South, we had chickenpox vaccination, we had all these different types of vaccinations, and we all have our personal feelings about it. But I think what's important in every household, rather than a man operating from a control mechanism that I'm running a household, let's look to work from the perspective of gaining understanding. Does this put the child in the best position to have a healthy life moving forward, no matter how we feel as adults?
Mark, talk to me, man. Here's the thing. Like, if you're a black man, as a black man, we're supposed to be the head of the household, right? We're supposed to be the kings. Now, look, taking nothing away from our queens, we know a lot of black women are strong and can lead a household. But if you get to the black man, when it comes to the vaccine hesitancy overall, is that who we need to be talking to when it comes to these families? Because they can try to convince their families and other members of the family to go out here and get the vaccine if that's what he chooses to do.
I mean, if we keep it at 100, all this man, even the men that think they run their house don't run their house, right? So,
well, we know that, but you got to act like you do.
I knew Mark was going to say that. When I say that I knew that this was going to take, I knew this was going to be Mark's take. But
I ain't met a brother yet that really run their house. Look, and I don't think men should be running the house. I think we have to think about this as a partnership, not as men leading. But even if I thought that, I lead the house, I'm the head of the household, all that stuff. Every dude I know, when it comes to stuff, a whole bunch of stuff, they don't do nothing. They be whispering and tiptoeing. They can be the most macho, masculine, tough, thugged out dude in the world. But
especially when it comes to the kids.
Exactly. So I don't think this is gonna be the battle that you think it is. It's not gonna be, yo, baby, should we get the kids vaccinated? It's probably gonna be, yo, the kids vaccinated.
I mean, Mike, I think to Mark's point, whether perceived or in reality, some men run their house and some men run around their house. And what I'll say about this decision is, I would argue or suggest that you stick to what you're good at. So if you're not the parent who's going and making sure that Junior's at school, or making sure that so-and-so's at dance, or the ins and outs of their schedule and what's going on, and you're not the one who's been necessarily up until this point, making sure that all their other immunizations were taken care of and they gotten their shots and this, that, and the third. Play your position and stay in your lane. And if that hasn't been your lane, don't use now as the opportunity to try to put your foot down. Like, stick to what you're good at. We all have things in relationships that we do, and this may not just be, your thing.
I got to wrap it up, but as a family man and somebody that's got kids and a wife, I think we should be doing more in the household to help our women out, our queens out when it comes to the kids, so that we can have those responsibilities. And by the way, y'all, I run my household. Now, don't y'all tell my wife that now. I don't think she watching. I don't think she up, but I run things around here. I run mic check. Hey, fellas, thank you so much, man. Marc Lamont Hill, Charles Coleman Jr., Jay Barnett. This has been outstanding. Of course, we'll do it again. Thank you all for starting your day right here on BNC. And Mark, of course, we'll see you later on tonight for Black News Tonight.